Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We're looking at the function substitute. Now, if you reviewed the last one, we used find and replace to do essentially the same thing. But now we're going to look at how we could create a formula that does this. What we're doing is we're trying to remove white space from the emails as well as other characters that are not allowed in emails, which is space. And I'm just going to write those down as what we need to do. And then the apostrophe. Which if you're writing it, you have to do 2 to show it. This is just from the ones we used is email, which is a function you can use to give a true or false if it's in the correct format. So in these cases, it's false because it has some sort of character in it that is not allowed in an email. So the things that we're going to look at here, is substitute. Now, before we get into that, I just wanted to quickly show what trim does. Now, trim removes space characters. So if there is any space in there, it'll remove it. Now, it won't remove anything in the middle of it. It'll just do what's at the start, the end, or if there's, say, 2 of them. So you can see that updated, but this one stayed the same. So trim is useful just to get things cleaned. Now, in this case here, if I already had the columns here, I would probably just highlight, go to edit, find and replace, or actually, excuse me, if we're doing trim, go here, data cleanup, trim white space. If you use hotkeys, you can actually do Control-Option-D on Mac, and then where it says data cleanup, the U has the underline, so you can push U, and then trim white space, so I. And then it'll do 3. Cool. I'm just going to undo this, Control Z, because I wanted to show what we can do actually in this one. So in the full name, if we wanted to get the spaces at the start and the end removed, or if there's 2 of them, you can actually nest a function. Now, a nested function is starting to get into that intermediate level, but it is something we're going to use even more so with our substitute. So let's start it here. Now, this right here is what we want in the middle of it. So I'm just going to copy and remove it, or you can do Command X to cut. So it copies to clipboard and then removes it. We want to trim. Now, we want to trim the text. And what a nested function means is that it is nested or inside another one. I think, instead of nested, I would probably call it like functionception. That just seems like a better way to do it. But anyway, so all that I'm doing here is I'm just pasting this in. And you may notice you actually only use one equal sign. You don't need to put another equal sign in here. It'll already know if this is, in an actual function, it'll know that this is another one. Now, what gets kind of tricky on this is that when you click in some places, it'll show where it's trim and text. This just takes one argument, so it's relatively simple. This is the text here. Now, if you go into side of these parentheses, then now we'll see the concatenate. So this part here is doing the concatenate, and then trim is going to trim any white space that's in it. So in this case, there wasn't any. Same for these ones. But now if we get down to this one, look, you can see that it removed that extra white space. Same for when we get down to here, Phillips, that one's removed. And there might be, I think there's one of them, you'd probably see, yeah, right here, there's actually some white space too, and that's getting removed. So having trim within it is very helpful just to get your full names, truly full names, and not extra white space that we don't need. So that's how you use trim. You could add it to this one too, but we're going to use substitute in order to get this into the format that we want, where there is absolutely no spaces. Trim will leave only spaces in between text or numbers or the characters there, but nothing at the start or at the end. So just the one in the middle, like these for the names. In this case, though, we want to substitute. So substitute. Now, the arguments here, it's a little bit more hefty. So I'm just going to break it down. First one is text to search. So this is going to be whatever you want to search. In this case, it's the email. So you can click the email. Oops, you have to be inside of it though. I was clicking too much. G3. Now it's what you want to search for. You do have to have that in quotation marks. So we want to search for the space because we don't want to remove the space. And now you can say replace with, and you can replace it with that whatever. If you want it underscore, you can. You can have it be space if you want. Or in this case, we want to replace it with nothing. So you just do quotes. Now, optionally, you can say the occurrence time. This just means how many spaces would you want to remove in any given text. If you don't do anything with it by default, it'll just do all of them, all occurrences. So again, if you're like, I want 1 space, you could put a 1. If you want 3 spaces, you can do 3, whatever it is. Since it's optional, you can just leave it. And I'm going to push enter, suggested autofill. So there we go. And we can see now Dylan, I can actually just close this out. Dylan is looking good. Jude is looking good. All of those. And if we wanted to see kind of the live update, we can switch it over to these. Now I'm just doing Shift Command down and then Command Enter. And that actually automatically switches from the first one, which is basically just switching it from G3 down to I. So now this one is picking these ones to say if it's true. So the next thing here is that this one's actually false. So what is being false here is the apostrophe. So we actually need to substitute for the apostrophe. Now, again, like I said, we're going to do more nested functions. So this part right here is the text that we want to search. So if it helps, you can do that cut as well. You can do the other one if you want, but right now what I'm going to do is Command X to cut it. And now I'm going to do the other one, substitute. And I like to do that because I am not very good at spelling. Now the text to search. This is where you're going to paste, because we're going to search this text here, which was the email, this updated email, and that's all good and done. We know that that one works because we have it already in that row. So now I'm going to do a comma. Now I'm going to search for the apostrophe, and then I'm going to then have the result be blank. Hit enter, and then I'm just going to kind of slowly fill this one down. I want to find the false. So all these are still true, so that means that it's not affecting anything. And then, oops, boom, it's true. Keep going all the way down, true. And it's good practice just to finish the entire thing and have the whole thing be the same, rather than like I could have started where there's that, Philip O'Connor and then update it there, but I don't want half of it to be the correct format and then the other half being a different one. It's just not best practice. Now, for the next thing here. So we already have this two nested functions in this kind of longer formula. The last thing that you can do is this G3 is the identical to what we have here. So if you want, you could actually do this. And since it's already here, I'm just going to copy it instead of cut. You can cut it too if you want, but I'm going to copy it. And instead of doing this reference, I'm going to paste that in. So now it's concatenate here. Now, like I said earlier, you don't want to have those equal signs in there, only one equal sign. Now, what's happening is that instead of referencing this concatenate, it's actually inside nested. So it's a nested concatenate in a nested substitute in a substitute. So if I push enter, it still works. They all still work. So this whole thing now is one nested function, and I can actually use this and update them here to have the email part right here be this. Now, I like to break it down in those steps. Personally, I think it's easier to just see and visualize because it does get a little bit lengthy, and it's honestly, if you do one at a time, you can tell and just check if it works or not. And then if it does, then you can just kind of paste it in and make it larger. Because, trying to just write substitute, concatenate, and doing that all in one go, it's kind of confusing what's where and what's doing what. But again, going kind of slowly like we did in this video, we built into this. And this is a formula. So I'm just going to copy this. And again, I'm going to put it in this email field. I want to make sure, yep, the cell references stayed the same. Hit enter. And so just for fun too, I'm going to put this on G, and then it did paste. It's another way you can copy and then highlight the whole thing and paste. And so let's just pull this down and see if it's fixing these again. Fixed, 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 fixed. Great. Some more. Yep. And I would normally not do this. I know that this is going to work. It's just kind of nice and satisfying to watch this. For longer ones, I wouldn't pull it down like that all the way. But since it's just like 100, we have plenty. So here we go. Now, like I said in the other one, find and replace is a lot more simple to do, like one and done. This is really helpful though. If you know, like say this is like, I don't know, a staff onboarding or something, and then you're creating, you know, new staff members, Samuel. And well, I guess it would make more sense if it's like Samuel, the third, something very long like that, because then it'll make an email for them every single time. And student, we can even, you know, do this down here. So it just makes it automatic. So it's helpful in that regards. Again, the amount of time that we put into this one doing the same thing that we did in the last one, honestly, the other way is faster. You can get good at Substitute and do it faster than what I did here, but still, I think using the menu to trim it for the one and done, this is for longer ones. The last little thing here, and hopefully this will help some who like to organize it a little more. One thing you can do is with Control Enter, you can actually put page breaks in it. I think you can with Command Enter too, at least on Mac. Yep. So you can put kind of command breaks if that helps break things up. So kind of this is the main middle part. And so, you know, you might want to break it up like this, and then this part goes together. This one goes with this substitute. So this is finding the space. And then you can see this one is the apostrophe at the end. So you can write it that way, hit enter, and it'll update like this one, which is a formula text to show it. It'll update. Oops, that is not what I wanted to do. I'm trying to increase the size. There we go. So you can see it there. Again, the other option can look like that, or it can look like this. It is longer, so it's kind of just personal preference. I think some functions, especially when it gets even more complex, this can help a lot if you're breaking it down, like with if statements and things like that. Substitute, I'd probably leave it like this myself, but it really just depends on, you know, who's reading it and if they prefer it this way, where again, you can kind of just see like the outside substitutes, the in between, and then the very center. Versus, you know, this one, you can still tell like, okay, this stuff right here goes to this substitute. And it's even nice here where if you're clicking on this, it'll show this is the one that it's working on and this is the outer one. But again, it just depends on personal preference. I just figured to show in case you want to get organized more like that, you can. Or, I mean, again, I'm not saying this is more organized than the other, just, you know, an option. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm going to stop. Thanks for watching. I know this was a lot. If you need to go back and do that or leave a comment with some questions and stuff, I will do my best to answer. Or, you know, hopefully others who are watching too might be able to assist. But in any case, here we did a nested function. We've cleaned our emails, and, you know, this is a lot. So well done. Keep at it, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye now.